To your average Joe, a luxury watch is a Rolex watch. There is simply no question that the brand Rolex is synonymous with luxury, big sporting events, wealthy people, and even investment strategies. The fact that the vast majority of Rolex models are incredibly hard to obtain, ironically, adds to the legend. You might be thinking, what is so special and alluring about Rolex watches that makes even the most eclectic collector double take? Yes, they are obviously tremendously well made and instantly recognisable. But here's a lesser known fact. Most of their pieces were made to be what is commonly referred to in the industry as a tool watch. The tool part here refers to a fit-for-purpose, no-nonsense watch. A good example of this is the highly coveted Rolex Submariner, a simple, functional and attractive watch that was made for divers to use and abuse every day, and definitely not hide away in a safe as an alternative investment. So, when Rolex decided to finally flex their muscles and introduce the most complicated Rolex ever, one would have expected a hugely positive response. This, however, was not necessarily the case when the Sky-Dweller was initially brought out into the world in 2012. Why was that? And have things changed? When the Rolex Sky-Dweller was introduced in 2012, it was only available in precious metals. This was interpreted as one of the reasons it wasn't an immediate success. The Sky-Dweller was made to navigate several time zones. It's easy to operate and hard wearing. But unless you are ready to fork out a considerable amount of your hard-earned money and make the purchase in white or yellow gold, it was simply out of the question. So when Rolex introduced an updated Sky-Dweller in 2017, with a mix of gold and steel, not only did it perhaps make more sense for its intended use, but also made it slightly more affordable, and perhaps less of a statement piece. The Sky-Dweller's party trick is a combination of two complications: a dual time zone, also known as a GMT complication, and an annual calendar. The dual time zone function is easy to understand. The watch displays the time in two time zones simultaneously through its 24-hour complication. And similar to other Rolex GMTs, it has an hour hand that can be independently set in 1 hour increments and decrements. A unique feature here is what is known as the ring command bezel. The bezel is an elegant solution to a complex problem. How do you keep track of and set different times without having to refer to a manual every single time? After unscrewing the crown, you turn the bezel anti-clockwise as far as it will go. This enables setting the time. In this position, both the hour hand and the 24-hour ring are kept synchronized. Turn the bezel one more stop clockwise and you can set the hour hand individually, which will, by the way, also change the date complication, both backwards and forwards. The first setting position, a further click clockwise, sets the month and date. The Caliber 9001 has a mechanically complex feature set, but it's deceptively easy to use. And the bezel with its solid mechanical clicks feels industrial and luxurious simultaneously. Unfortunately, like all Rolex models, this beauty of a movement is hidden away behind an anti-magnetic soft iron cage and a closed solid caseback. This is a pity, since no less than 60 additional parts are required to make this movement perform its many functions. So, what about the aesthetics? Beauty is, of course, in the eye of the beholder. It's a rather large offering in the Rolex catalogue at 42mm in diameter. That, in combination with a fairly busy dial and an eye-catching white gold fluted bezel, mean your senses are definitely stimulated whenever you're sporting this piece. The legendary and polarising Rolex Cyclops is also present, hovering over the date window at 3 o'clock. Rolex elected, we think wisely, to keep the hour, minute and second hands slim. There are no Mercedes-style hands here, just slim, polished white gold, stick-styled hands with different sized luminance to make them legible and easily identifiable in the dark. One highlight of this particular in-demand model we have in hand is the gorgeous blue dial. The shades of blue used on the dial, with a few red highlights, works particularly well visually with the steel and white gold case. The bracelet with its oyster clasp is comfortable and attractive. This really is Rolex at its best. They do make some of the best bracelets in the world. They are easy to adjust, robust to the touch, and the clasps have a number of small features to make them easy to use. The tiny edge on the clasp bends ever so slightly through its hinge, which disengages the locking mechanism. An elegant solution that makes a difference in daily use. So, should you get one? Only you can answer that question, of course. But there's one thing we can do to help. All Rolex watches are notoriously difficult to obtain. So let us here at Time Only use our network to source one for you. If you are in the market for a Sky-Dweller, we think this blue version is the pick of the bunch. It's as understated as this model can be, and its impressive mechanical features make the piece functional, exclusive, and elegant. What about you? What do you think about this Rolex model? Please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed this video, we would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed too. Until next week,